I now call on the public orator to present the honorary graduand, Clare Hayward, for admission to her degree.
Your Grace, Lord Bishop, Vice-Chancellor, Lord Lieutenant, Lord Mayor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Clare Elizabeth Hayward, née Roberts, was born in Upminster, Essex in 1964 to Howell, a successful engineer, and Pamela, a devoted and loving mother. Clare grew up in Leighton Buzzard, Bedfordshire, and attended Heathwood Primary School and then Gilbert Inglefield Secondary School. At 13, Clare was awarded a fully funded scholarship to attend Dame Alice Harper School for Girls, which, as Clare recalls, was a huge honour and yet somewhat unexpected, having not submitted any form of application for the award. Not dissimilar, Clare notes, to the emotions she is experiencing today in accepting this honorary degree. After a mixed experience at Dame Alice Harper, the straw boater didn't quite fit in more ways than one, Clare attended Van Dyke Upper in Leighton Buzzard from age 16 and obtained 4 A-levels. From an early age, Clare cultivated a vivid ambition to establish a marketing consultancy business with, very specifically, a green front door, and pursued study of the subject at university. At a time, the early 1980s, when there were just 2 choices to study marketing at higher education, and in both cases as agricultural marketing, Clare opted for Newcastle over Aberystwyth and achieved a BSc with honours, as well as more knowledge than would prove useful in pig and sheep-related marketing techniques. Clare graduated in 1985 and began the search for her first professional role, one that Clare was clear should have a positive impact and should be something a little different to fit with her non-conformist tendencies. With an old school friend, Clare led a 1-year British expedition to Indochina to raise the profile of post-war Vietnam and how the United Kingdom was supporting the Vietnam government. This attracted significant sponsorship from a number of renowned international organisations, including ICI, Massey Ferguson, Rothmans and Johnny Walker, and undertook in-depth research into Vietnam to support and inform its post-war redevelopment. In so doing, Clare was the first Western woman to travel throughout Indochina after the Vietnam War. On her return to the UK in 1987, Clare set up Mad Rags, a company that made interchangeable formal and informal shirts, and was promptly arrested for trading without a licence. Clare notes that this entanglement with the law was a result of carelessness and not nonconformism. Between the years of 1987 and 1992, Clare held a number of commercial management roles, including at Toshiba and Siemens, but her entrepreneurial spirit continued to bubble below the surface, and Clare continued to establish a steady stream of her own businesses in corporate hospitality management and telecoms. In 1992, Clare returned to higher education and sat the prestigious Executive MBA course at Cranfield over 2 years. Within the space of the second year of the course, Clare moved house to Cheshire, got married to business partner Simon, gave birth to Harry, who was followed by Max and Freddie over the course of the next 4 years, and set up a new business called Academy with her husband. Academy was a European leadership consultancy business originating in Battersea before moving to Wilmslow, Cheshire in 2005, and concerned itself with leadership development and strategy, focusing on creating practical and positive working environments. The business grew quickly and attracted financial assistance from Barclays to set up one of the first e-learning businesses in the UK. The growth of Academy continued through the late 2000s and was sold in 2008 to Oliver Wyman, where Clare adopted the role of Global Head of Market Development as partner. This role held responsibility for leading teams all over the world, which included many, many flights, and for a client income of over $30 million. Husband Simon opted to leave the organisation in 2008, while Clare continued for a further 2 years, at which point she resigned to spend more time with her rapidly growing sons and to make lemon drizzle cakes. The world of baking captivated Clare for 2 whole weeks, after which she was approached by her local MP at the time, David Rutley, to lead on the establishment of an economic forum for Macclesfield to strengthen its destination status. Work on Make It Macclesfield was and continues to be extensive and has included festival programmes, developing a town vision, culture and heritage strategy, leading a delegation visit to China, and a communication group responsible for running websites, events and radio stations, amongst many other awareness-raising activities. Clare remains the chair of Make It Macclesfield to this day. Husband Simon established Cirrus in 2011, specialising in organisational change and leadership education and innovation, which Clare joined as its growth director in 2013. Cirrus has worked with the boards of Macmillan Cancer Support, EE, Marks & Spencer, the Arcadia Group, Kellogg's, Coca-Cola, the BBC, Rolls-Royce, eBay. Essentially, name it, and Cirrus has probably had an input somewhere along the line. In whatever time that may remain for extramural activities, Clare is a board member of the Cheshire and Warrington Local Enterprise Partnership, a member of the Queen's Voluntary Award Assessment Board, a member of the Manchester Metropolitan University MBA Advisory Board, and a Deputy Lieutenant for Cheshire. Clare's pride, considering all that she has achieved, remains by some distance her 3 sons. Clare is very pleased that they have each taken on the baton of nonconformism with aplomb, and with it the intrinsic importance of charity and community endeavour so valued by the family. Clare wonders if one son will be a future UK Prime Minister, one a future Richard Branson, and one a future Chief of the General Staff of the British Army. She's just not quite sure which son will take on which role. Indeed, in terms of a parental and professional role model, Harry, Max and Freddie could have done a lot worse than Clare Hayward. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate and of the Council, I present to you Clare Hayward for admission to the degree of Doctor of Business Administration honoris causa in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Business Administration honoris causa in this university. My congratulations. Gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Clare Hayward to address the congregation.
This is the moment where you realise you picked up somebody else's speech. Your Honour, Your Grace, Vice-Chancellor, Lord Lieutenant, Lord Mayor, Lady Mayoress, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hugely honoured, humbled and very proud to accept this honour today, so a massive thank you to the University of Chester. I'm also slightly embarrassed. Having read the list of your honorary graduates, Sir Terry Waite, Louise Minchin, His Grace the Duke of Westminster, Beth Tweddle, Ranulph Fiennes, Clare Hayward. So sorry, I should imagine you were all expecting a celebrity. However, I then reflected on what the University of Chester stands for. And it's about recognising success, anyone's success, everyone's success. And what the University of Chester has created is the opportunity for everyone to flourish and to succeed, wherever you're from and whatever your ambition. So I knew it was going to be a special day when I read my letter and I understood that an encomium was going to be written. Well, to be honest, I thought she had to be dead to receive one of those. So I looked it up. Encomium, a formal expression of high praise. I'd certainly been confusing that, I think, with an epitaph. So apparently my brother-in-law has already written mine. It says, "And now I'll relax." So thank you very much, Ross, for my encomium. It is a little odd, I have to say, stood there listening to that. And I knew that I was going to be in good company when I had to revert to a dictionary. So despite all that you've heard, I'm still not quite sure what I want to be when I grow up. In fact, I've always had the desire to run the UN. But I may have to accept that I have missed that moment. So instead, I'm thinking perhaps of setting up a beach bar called Uniquely Natural. So at least I can get up in the morning and say I'm off to run the UN. So thank you. I'm delighted and extremely honoured to join you all today. And congratulations to all of you. What you have achieved is a real accolade. So do take a moment to recognise this before you rush on to the next stage of your career. Your hard work and studying has enabled you to have more choice. And choice is one of the greatest luxuries in life. And I would like to thank the University of Chester for recognising my contribution, but more importantly, the contribution of all business people that aim to make a difference in the community, and the community people that make a difference to business. I must admit, it's not been a completely easy road to travel. There are times when I've confused between councillors and councillors, profit and surplus, social cost and the cost of social. But your degrees are a powerful statement of your commitment to learning, and I suggest that there's two key themes to learning today: disruption and connection. The world has changed, and we are in an era of disruption, where the small can challenge the giant, where the unique lasts but a moment, where a private comment can be tweeted to millions, where business can grow, think Uber, Airbnb, LinkedIn, or be dismantled, think Kodak, Lehman Brothers, Woolworths, all just in a matter of moments. And the people who are going to change the world and be there in the future, I am sure that includes most of you, don't always follow the rules or fashion. They think differently, they challenge the status quo, and they disrupt. And what I have learned is that the most successful men and women don't always do what they're told. They take opportunities when others might prefer the comfort of the known. They open doors that lead to new connections and so shape the lives of them and those of others. Think Emmeline Pankhurst and the suffragettes, who changed the world through asking the questions about why women were not equal to men. Or Amelia Earhart, who was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic. And she once said, "The most difficult thing is to decide to act. The rest of it is just tenacity." And they had the courage to be different, to challenge the status quo, to disrupt. So when you come across those opportunities, I'd encourage you to take the difficult choice and open that door. The other theme I mentioned was connections. We're all connected as human beings, as an alumni of this university, as future leaders. And social media has caused an explosion of connections in the last few years. Think how many friends you have on Facebook. In fact, last month, 1 billion people connected in one day on Facebook. And over the last 176 years, the university has connected thousands of people, creating vast, deep and varied connections, an amazing alumni, and an alumni that we are now all proudly a critical part of. So I'd encourage you to treasure the connections that you have made here at Chester with confidence and pride in what you've achieved. So take your friends with you as a treasure to be valued and maintained. And as you go through the door as a graduate, be sure to make quality connections with new people that will help you and you can help along their way. I'd like to mention a previous honoree, Sir Terry Waite, who I had the pleasure of meeting at East Cheshire Hospice recently. And for me, he encompasses our ability to connect, reconnect, and when isolated and alone, to connect within. So I'd like to encourage you to connect. Connect within and be happy with what you discover. Connect with those around you and be delighted at what you can learn from them. And connect with those that are often harder to find and share. Because it's often those people, whether it's the person sitting beside you today or the person you never actually spoke to in lectures, who would make the difference to your world. So make the most of what you've learned, try some disruptive thinking, challenge the status quo, and connect. Because it is those critical connections that will open up your world, give you choice, and ultimately make a difference. So thank you and congratulations to all of you.